Hi, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today as we read another great story. This story is going to be from the Archbook series, The Man Who Won Without Fighting. And as you look closely here on the cover, you'll start to see that it might be a story about Gideon. Yes, that battle where he won without fighting with weapons, but fighting in the name of the Lord, following his instructions using a torch and a trumpet here only. And so we'll see exactly how this story plays out, but this is going to be a story from Judges 6 and 7 as we see what God is asking of Gideon and how he follows through and how he does win. This is a story about a battle that has won here in the name of the Lord. Yes, the Lord always wins. And I can't wait to get started because we're going to be looking into how they retell this story and see how important it is to take in this story, especially if we're talking about faith, if we're talking about how to just obey God here in faith and knowing that he really has the victory and we will have that victory in him. So we're going to look into the first page. I start to see here Gideon. Yes, Gideon is hiding right over here. Gideon hid his bundles of wheat, for spies were out scouting for something to eat. He crouched in the shadows and watched till at last the thieves and their camels had traveled past. So he does have food. He does not want to share the food because he doesn't want to get in contact with them, know that they are around, but also maybe he's going towards the enemy's camp, their land. And so he's getting his bundles of wheat, maybe from them too, from their land, but he does not want to get in contact with them. They travel away from him and he's safe now. Then he jumped for behind him. Someone spoke, an angel who sat in the shade of an oak. And he said, what a mighty leader you'll be. You'll set all the people of Israel free. Rescue us all from the people of Midian. Who, me? But how could that be? Cried Gideon. So he wanted to get clarification of what was going to happen. He didn't understand fully, but he's taking everything in and listening carefully. Then he prayed, dear God, if it's really so, please use the sheepskin to let me know. If you want me to gather my men in a band and drive the enemy out of the land, let the fleece be soaking and wet as winter, the ground be dusty and dry as a splinter. So he wanted to see this miracle of two different temperatures going on to show exactly how miraculous this can be. And see that really God is working here. He wants to see that particular thing happen. Next morning, what happens? Well, before the sun was high, the fleece was wet and the ground was dry. So this can only happen here if God wanted him to feel confirmation and to feel assured here that he is speaking to him and that he wants him to do something. Of course, this is something that he is hesitating apparently to do, but he's still being open-minded and understanding here of what could God want from me. Even though I don't fully understand, I'm going to try to understand. Well, so he it takes that all in, but then he still wanted to be sure. It says here, but Gideon said, to be sure that I'm right, I'll put out the fleece again tonight. Let the fleece be dry and fluffy, and yet let the ground all around be soggy and wet. Right, so it's the opposite, but yet two major temperatures are happening at the same time, and this normally doesn't happen. And so what has happened the next morning? Well, in the morning, the ground was damp with dew, but the fleece was dry as good as new. So he's looking at it, he's double checking. Is this good enough for him? So he gathered an army of men on the hill. Yes, he is very satisfied with this answer from God. And so now he feels confident. He's walking into what God has for him. And you know what? It doesn't really faze or really surprise or really hinders God's love or planning continuously for us if we question and try to get more clarification from God. He's very patient like that. He's very understanding and, long-suffering here so that everybody can be on the same page together and feel at ease getting into the assignment, the battle. So he gathered an army of men on the hill, and they stopped by a river to drink their fill. Some cupped their hands to their mouth to drink, some knelt with their mouths in the watery brink. So some use their hands to get water, and some of them just straight lick the water, like lapping the water as like a cat or a dog. Well, the ones that cup their hands right are the ones that possibly here was able to stay. Well, it says, then God said, the ones with their mouths in the foam that kneel at the edge of the water send home. So Gideon sent away rank after rank till only a handful were left on the bank. Yes, and we'll read here in the Bible that he continues to eliminate people from in front of him so that he's able to see which ones will be able to join this battle that God has for them. Of course, we also know in this story that there is a massive amount of people in the enemy side, but yet he's condensing the number down for a reason here, because God told him so, and also because it will show here God's glory more, right, at the end. And he is having faith here to do just that, to be fearless at a time where fear is all around. He is fighting against that fear here. So more and more people left. It was only the people initially that cupped their hands to drink water that stayed, but they were also eliminated. And he's looking over now to the enemy's land.